Alrighty. Unfortunately, due to technological limitations, we couldn't do this in the workshop where there are shelves and shelves of boxes. So I brought 10 semi-random boxes inside for us to go through just to see what has been saved. Um, Company archives, every company wants to keep a record of what it has done. FASA now has been around for 40 years. That's a lot of stuff. In 2001, when we shut down operations, um, I was left with the task of closing out the warehouse. And at a certain point, I just started putting stuff in boxes and bring it home to my garage where they were stacked 10 deep, 10 high. And there they stayed until we moved here to Oregon and got some shelves and racked everything. So these boxes have not really been touched since I put stuff in them in 2001 or even older than that, which were pure company archive stuff. So behind me, you can see the boxes that we'll go through today, and we'll see what we can find. Let's. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but box number one is shrink wrapped versions of Battletech stuff. Um, Again, hmm? Well, um, as I was going through to pick these boxes, there's just several of these boxes that have uh, random games. This box here just happened to pick, to hold box games perfectly. So yes, uh, and you can see we've got all the different editions: second edition, third edition. Um, these were probably just put in boxes back in Chicago, just to have them on hand in case we needed them for anything. Ask away. Um, Anything? Well, we have some Shadowrun card decks up on eBay right now that are garnering little or no attention. Um, these, I'm these these uh, games. I certainly have more than I will ever need. So once I have a chance to go through and see what I really have, we can uh, think about putting stuff up on auction. Um, the next box. In addition to publishing our own material, um, we also licensed things extensively. This box has file copies of computer games and other things. So here's a copy of the Crimson Skies PC game. Battle guides for Mech Warrior 2, its various versions. Mech Commander in its various uh, releases. Also, unfortunately, you can see as a result of being stacked on top of each other, sometimes the boxes get a little bit squished. Yep. Um, Probably just the screen name is FASA underscore corporation, I believe. Um, in addition to computer games, Ralph Partha was also a longtime licensee. So here's one of their original um, Lance sets, original Omnimex that came in whole bunches of pieces with assembly instructions even. Yeah, one of the cool things is that before uh, Ralph Partha marched off to Iron Wind, I asked for and received one of everything that Ralph Partha produced at that time. Battlecore Sega CD. What else have we got in here? Oh, a favorite of many people, Interceptor, the SSI version. We were just talking about that a couple of days ago. And this one just happens to be for the Amiga. Mech Warrior 2. And so on. The real find here, I think, is Crimson Skies. In addition to product, the archives holds old files and old things that we receive from our licensors to help us make product. Some of you may or may not know that we had a license for Star Trek. And the way Paramount worked it is you just didn't have a license for Star Trek. You had to have a license for each specific property. That means for the original series, for each of the movies, for Next Generation. And part of our Next Generation kit from Paramount was a set of the first season scripts. So this is number 52. It's not a shooting script, it's a final draft script for Star Trek The Next Generation. So I believe we have the whole first season scripts in this form. Back in before I switched over to virtual world entertainment, I was editor-in-chief at FASA. And as such, most of the player submissions, writer submissions, freelance submissions came across my desk. This was the submissions folder of the late 80s before I moved over to VWE. It contains dozens of folks writing in with their game ideas, pitching theirs. The most interesting one here, and this is one I talked to Morgan about, is a letter written by a guy in Minneapolis, or in St. Paul rather, who was pitching us his science fiction role-playing game. I don't know if you can see the signature down at the bottom, but we were very flattered to receive this letter, and you can see my written note at the top to discuss at Origins. So I don't know how many people out there remember who Dave Arneson is, but he pitched us a game, and unfortunately, probably nothing ever came of it. This letter was dated January 30th, 1984. As you know, Battletech and Shadowrun were licensed to be translated into many different languages. And we always got copies of uh, the printed product in the foreign languages. So here is the Black Widow scenario pack for Battletech in German, and Mech Warrior in Spanish, and so on. I'm not even sure which language this is, but here's a box filled with foreign editions of our products. Sometimes different publishers, are creating product for their own market in a format that they believe will sell the best. So, and I'm not even sure what. I guess this is a BattleTech novel in Japanese, and it's pretty cool to see this, including the illustrations, which were part of the original book, make it into a foreign language text. Third edition Shadowrun in Spanish. And because things were thrown in willy-nilly, then I come across things like this. This is a stack of Battletech product. Some of it, the top is just simply, virgin copies of the particular book itself. But all of these with Post-it notes off to the side, these are the first edition printings with the corrections that would be asked for if we ever went back to a second printing. So, it's a standing joke that FASA was notorious for having perhaps not the most perfect proofreading and spell checking. So here are editions that prove that. Also in here is a sample of the product with a label, a sticker on it, and the sticker reads Plaintiff's Exhibit PGN 71. As part of the lawsuit with between Harmony Gold and FASA and everybody else related, we supplied the lawyers with essentially one of everything, showing how much we had developed the property from the initial model kits of giant walking robots. So somewhere in the archives is one of everything that the lawyers used to prove that Battletech was a developed property and not just a ripoff of Macross. Again, all Battletech material from the 80s. Next out of the box are, again, foreign language editions of the novels. Decision at Thunder Rift in German. Ragnarok in German from Shadowrun. Not sure which one that is. Something, I don't know, Death of a Dragon in French. and on. Everything else in here appears to be novels, foreign language novels, including, well, some of our own FASA published novels. That's before all the novels went to Rock. Again, a mix of novels. As you can see, sometimes not much care was taken in dumping stuff in boxes. This appears to be a box mostly of foreign language editions of Battletech product and Shadowrun product, and sneaking in a couple editions of Battletechnology. As you can see, usually we ask for at least 6 copies from each of our licensors, our licensees. This might be Polish edition of Shadowrun. And I think for some reason this is in the box. I think it's in there because he used to be a lawyer at the law firm that represented us in the infamous lawsuit. Spring 1993 catalog in full color. And somehow, perhaps a Polish version of an Iron Crown product. I have no idea how that got there. Reference books. This one is The Outline of History by H.G. Wells. Again, in the 80s, it was always a game at the end of conventions to run around to other vendors whose product you liked with a stack of your own and look for trades. So a lot of some of this stuff comes from trades. DC Green Arrow, a German comic book. More Japanese manga books. Again, not sure what was traded to get these, and unfortunately this box has a bit of a mouse nest in it. You can see it's been nibbled. Cyberspace from Iron Crown. Renegade Legion product. Star Trek Next Generation. You know, 20 years of active publication leads to lots and lots of product. And you can see the mouse nest. Yeah, it looks like more Polish novels, Polish Earth Dawn and Polish Shadowrun. Gravity's Rainbow. And let's move on. This box says Art Department Archives. So, always needed blank hex maps to play test and to map things out. And underneath the hex maps, oh, it's just an extra long one. Here is the box label for the black layer of the Battletech Blueprints Box. And here may be the original drawings for the blueprints. Ink on paper. Again, rolled versions of the original blueprints. We just didn't, one of the, we started out making traveler ships, blueprints for traveler ships for the Star Trek license. We also had a guy working on deck plans for the Next Generation Enterprise. And I'm not sure about the timing of it all, but ultimately these were shopped to one of the mainline publishers and released by somebody else. So this was the work in progress of this project at that time. Here we have poster versions of some of our box covers from the Star Trek ship combat game to Mech Warrior. Mostly Mech Warrior, it looks like, in this stack. You don't find those anymore, that's for sure. Here we have nice, I'm not sure when this one came out. This is a very nice glossy coated version of a Battletech poster that we probably gave away at, or this might be done by a licensee. But here's a stack of these. The original poster map for the ones we had, Battletech, CityTech, and Aerotech out. This just looks like contact paper, so nothing there. Well, these are art archives. This is, well, I think I just took this box. This is a deck plan for, I guess this is, again, more enterprise deck plan. But this one didn't get rolled up nicely. The problem, we don't know what we'll get until we unroll it. Yep, and this is a poster, original poster for Shadowrun. Remember, back in the 90s, digital copies meant different things. So, that it would be on tops, and for some reason, no, Earth Dawn stuff would not. So how does Hellraiser fit into Earth Dawn? Is that a horror or somebody horror? And behind it we have 2 copies. Again, more Enterprise blueprints. Again, it appears this project came really close to being finished and ended up elsewhere. And again, a stack of here's a Gorn battleship blueprint. Something that was being worked on, somebody spent a lot of time drawing, but again, never saw the light of day. And that seems to be what we've got in that box. I know this box doesn't have books in it. And it has my copies of North America Rails, Japanese Rails, British. These are, I believe, Mayfair games. But also in this are a few of these. These are the Battletech Toys. So this is probably a full set. I don't know if these are all in. It looks like a couple of copies of each, including some of the big ones. Does anybody remember the old card game, chip game Tripoli? Here's the map set for it, or the mat for it. And this is a box of stuff I had in my room at one point or another. It's a little worse for wear, but I assume that plastic model kits are not top of every growing guy's list of things to do. So at one point I was very proud of these, but they are now in serious need of repair. And this was a product submission. Appears to be a card game of some sort. Captain Award for Merchant Marine Academy swimming team. So that's about all of interest in that box. Again, we have product samples from all sorts of folks. This is from Rawcliffe. They specialized in gift shop and jewelry store products, but they did do a lot of Relparth the Dragons, and they did do a bunch of figures for us. Here's the Shadowrun Troll in Pewter, in what we call museum scale. We've got a bunch of these. Some. As you can tell, as you started out, well, exactly. The trick is to try and put it back in a better spot and better condition than when I take it out. And that will be the challenge. Well, that's why when we were talking about doing a convention, mini convention here, in-person convention for Earth Dawn, or if Gen Con craps out, we all come visit me. Josh volunteered to just camp out in the barn with the ability to go through the boxes. But here's a Here's a trophy for one of our convention tournaments that's actually pretty classy. Laser etched wood in a nice stand. Back to Oregon. Yeah, well, how much of it will actually stay cleaned up or how much of it will disappear? Uh, so this, that's what they call it. So this box is, again, more foreign language editions of mostly Battletech and Shadowrun, though it does have one of my all-time favorite games, Circus Imperium. Let's see. Here they are. Every year, yeah. We who? Um, that's a subject of much debate in the family. How much of this stuff? How much of this stuff is actually worth uh, the effort, and how much for any? Well, but I've shown an awful lot of things. Um, uh, every year around Christmas time, for Thanksgiving and before Christmas, I hosted uh, a Wild West shootout game, Last Man Standing wins, and a Circus Imperium game. And we had a trophy, the Colin Powell Memorial Trophy, which I think is currently held by J.M. Albertson up in Seattle right now. But we played Circus Imperium full maps, and when somebody died, we would memorialize their death by a smear of, sometimes it was jam, sometimes it was raisin, sometimes it was preserved cranberries seemed to be the best. But here's our map. You can see where the smears are and little notes in between. Some of the smears are quite chunky and quite long, result of somebody being dragged across the track in our cutthroat games. But yep, no, I'm a firm believer of hanging on to certain things because they were great games, and you never know. This box is novels, English, foreign, rock published, self-published. And these are all, because they've been in a box, they have not been age yellowed, so they're all in very, very nice shape, and they will probably come out and see the world one of these days. A font catalog. Two font catalogs. Might have to pass these on to Don, who is madly trying to research fonts at the moment. What was that? Um, so again, here's another box of still shrink wrapped games ranging from Doctor Who, Star Trek, the original Star Trek role-playing game, uh, Behind Enemy Lines. Oh, and this one actually has playtest characters sheets in it. I guess there was a whole family of Joe Bob, Jim Bob, Bob Bob, Leroy, who tried to survive World War II when we were developing and playtesting the game. So everybody remembers how our blueprints were presented. Like so. With a book and nice printed semi fake blueprints with hex grids so that you could march your miniatures around and have running battles on the Enterprise. Here's what, I'm not sure who the company is, but if you look at the prints here, you can see that they look vaguely familiar. So this was the project that we weren't able to do when they finally came out. And it's not an insubstantial package of deck plans for the Enterprise, the next generation Enterprise. Our final box, a heavy box, again has a mixed bag of things in it. A review of Mech Commander. Again, another review of Mech Commander. For some reason, a Thursday, May 14th, 1998 copy of the New York Times. Odds are we got mentioned in it somewhere. This is a sign that I had on my one-door office. Computer games, MechWarrior 3. Again, more computer games, Blue Max, Das Boot. One of the games that all of us Traveler players are eagerly looking forward to the release of, Striker. The Renegade Legion novels, Monsoon, Frost Death, and Damned If We Do. Battletech Temporary Tattoos. This is a photo album that's labeled Battletech Body Design, and it appears to be pictures of cockpits in Japan. And that is Mr. Miura, our partner in Japan for so many things. So these were cockpits that were first installed in Yokohama. Again, in the never-ending quest for new product, here's what is called a puzzle book, where this, I don't know if you can actually see it, but those are puzzle pieces there that can pop out and be reassembled for Battletech. So here's the proof of concept sample. My 1992 Far Side calendar. Virtual Geographic League. First 50 years. A Red Planet mousepad. So this stack is a full run of Shadowrun Adventures. Then we have Mercenary Spies and Private Eyes, Deadlands. Morgan was showing off his collection. Ours is nowhere near organized or complete and much more haphazard. Here's our certificate for Crimson Skies, a Gamma nomination. Mech Commander. Again, another nomination for Crimson Skies. And lo and behold, that's one that we actually won. And the rest of this box appears to be a full set of Shadowrun product. Is there anything anybody else would like to see in particular in the last 5 minutes that we've got here? Before, well, I can just take what I have off of my shelf for that. This my own personally embossed red edition. And what number did I get? Or were these numbered? I don't remember. I think I got number 8. Let's see, I guess I can do this. Let's take the phone, go like so. I didn't find the patches yet, Dan. So on my shelf here, I know. Hey, I did find some. So this is my Earthdawn shelf. First edition, second edition, going into the Redbrook editions, the Mongoose third editions, and now we get uh, archive copies of the FASA game stuff, including the fourth edition material. Full set of blacks and blues. Um, and then I know I've again pulled back. We have the Shadowrun shelf. And the Battletech shelf, including a lot of the Fan Pro editions. And then the very early licensed materials. So those are all the Star Treks, Doctor Who, Behind Enemy Lines, Vor, Renegade Legion. Full set of novels, including the rarest of them all. Up here are the Shadowrun novels, some German Earthdawn sample product. And on the bottom shelf, we have the box games. What else? That's my glory wall and my desk and the view of the snow outside. This is the US desk. This is the UK desk. First we have cutaway and sail plan of the Cutty Sark. And then HMS Victory, profile view and the decks. Unfortunately, in my wisdom, I neglected to buy the sail plan when I was visiting, in the mid 80s. And then for those of you who don't know what they look like, there's my commission in the Naval Reserve, my honorable discharge, and the two pieces of paper that I went to school for 4 years for, my Coast Guard licenses as a deck and engineering officer for ships, unlimited tonnages. Um, Anybody else see anything they want to take a look at? Here's my 1879 armies. Uh, well, let's hope that I can remain in contact here. Let me know if my voice breaks up or misses. Um, I've done a lot of painting in my day, but sometimes it's just too much. And here's my painted figures. Is that coming through? Anybody? Did I lose it, or am I still involved, still here? Andy? Um, are we back? Again, not sure if anybody can hear me or not. It's just about top of the hour, so give you one last look out my window and call it a day. If anybody has any questions, um, let me know. Again, these are just 10 boxes out of probably over 100. And some of them will be boring, but some of them will have some cool stuff in it. So until next time.